Today, we're going to have a good old chat about rituals and routines. One of the most common questions I get, other than like, how do I get clients, is what is my morning routine? And like, what are my routines? And what does my day look like? And how do I, handle all of the things? So let's maybe talk about how much help we both have and have had over the years. And I'll talk about sort of how much help I've had, because I think that there's this idea that you are meant to do it all. I had a note in our project management platform from one of our 10K clients who was really, really struggling because she's, homeschooling the kids. She's working full time. She has these amazing expectations of herself and all of this pressure and all of this stuff. And it like takes a toll. And I was just saying to Laura before, yesterday was the first day in a year that my children, both of my children left for a full 24-hour period because they were home, like they've been off since March of 2020. They were home all summer. I pulled them from the Board of Education. We homeschooled them, and they, yes, I'm divorced. And the back and forth didn't really happen for a while. So they were predominantly here. And I was saying to Laura, like, I genuinely thought something was wrong with me. Like, I kept saying my brain is broken. My brain is broken. Like I was behind. I was not having my full faculties. My creativity was like nowhere to be found. Yeah. I just felt like I was like one breath below sinking for like a long time. And then my children left. And even though I was on Zoom yesterday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. straight without a break, not recommended. Nope. I had the best fucking day of my life. The best day of my life. And I was calm. And I was like, oh, nothing's wrong. It's the season we are in. Got it. Check. Thank you. Oh. Nothing's wrong with me. They leave and I'm fine. And like, obviously I love my children, but let me be fully transparent. And this is not a judgment. This is like, I am not a stay-at-home mom. No. I had my kids in daycare full time. My son was 6 months old. I like to work. I don't feel shame about saying that. It is my purpose on this planet, other than obviously being a mom and a friend and da-da-da-da-da. But like, this is this is who I am. Like, yes, it feels fulfilling to me. I enjoy it. I know that not everybody feels this way. This is the gift I was given. And when I can't execute that gift, which is completely outside of my control, it feels really frustrating. Yes. And I don't like it. Same. I don't like having my children here all the time. I am not that kind of mom. I know my limitations. Right? Right. Like, we're not the kind of moms that like to go to the park. No. I mean, I will go to the park with my laptop and run Wi-Fi from my phone. Yeah. And be like, oh, I'm watching you. Slide. Yes. Good job. Good job. Don't need to watch you one more time. Slide down a damn slide. You're good. Mm-hmm. Nailed it. Right? You're good. And so, it's really interesting. And this is a really important conversation. And, I think that's also why like Laura and I resonate so much, is because we have that same, level of drive and ambition. And it just works in that sense where it's like, we get it. And so if you are anything like us, where you're like, the right thing to do was to keep your kids home. Yes. Or whatever. Laura kept her kids home. We'll talk about the help in a second. Yes. But then for me, the right thing to do was to send them back to school. And it was the right thing for them. And it was the right thing for me, because it would have went downhill for all of us very quickly had I not made that decision to send them back to school. Totally. And so let's just talk about how much help we both have and how much help I've had even before I could afford it. Mm-hmm. So one of the questions today was, how do we keep up with the chores? To which we both laughed. So Go ahead.
It's just going to say, we don't.
Nope.
We don't.
Not even a little bit.
That is the first thing that goes. First thing.
Bye. Cleaning service.
Yep.
And laundry that likely sits in the dryer until every article of clothing is been plucked out from the dryer or the waste, the basket, whatever that thing is called. The laundry basket.
The place where the clothes live.
The place where the clothes live, not the drawers.
Not the drawers. Oh gosh, no. Nope.
And I'm just gonna say it, it's not equal. If you're female and you have responsibilities at home, it's not going to be equal. It's never going to be equal, blah, blah, blah. It's just not. Right. And so if you have ambition and you have drive and you want to change your life, it's on you to figure out how to let go of all the things that you resent doing, but have to get done. Listen, you might love to do laundry and not resent it, but it's not a good use of your time.
At all. Like, I'm like speechless, even trying to contribute. Like, no, of course it's not.
Cleaning your house is not a good use of your time.
No, it's not.
Right? Shoveling your driveway, mowing your lawn, all of these things that can be easily done by other people, not a good use of your time. That time should either be used for your own health and well-being, prioritizing your loved ones, or working.
Yeah.
Not doing laundry.
Not at all. Like, you can only go so long with working, you know, full-time during the week, parenting full-time during the week, doing whatever responsibilities you have full-time during the week, to end up on your weekends scrubbing toilets. Yeah. Like, that doesn't, you can't do that.
Out of integrity with what you're trying to create for yourself.
Yes.
Right? And that's not to say that it's a lower level thing, except it is. Right?
And
but it is. And you can pay someone $20 an hour to come every other week for 4 hours or 5 hours and do that for you.
Yes.
That is a good allocation of resources, because then that means that you're not spending one day on the weekend angry that you are now cleaning your house or doing laundry or doing whatever. And so here's the thing, like, when you are building, and this isn't forever, but when you are building, it is so important for you to figure out how to offload as much as you possibly can. That even means bedtime.
Yeah.
Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings. Like, when my kids were little and I was building this, so I had my nutrition practice in 2007. I got pregnant. My daughter was born in August of 2008. My son was born in March of 2011. So I was also single after my son was born. And so I would take my kids to an indoor play place. FYI, play places will save your sanity.
Yep.
And, you know, it was a really small play place. And when he was, you know, able to walk a year and a half, you know, my son was walking like perfectly fine at 9 months. If you have ever seen Daniel, you'll understand that makes complete and utter sense. And he was like on his own, like he was good. And this play place was like it was for like, you know, 4 years and under. So it was like equipped. And I would just sit there. I would sit there on the floor and I would have my laptop and I would work. They were taken care of. And I would sit there for 3 hours with the snacks and the whole thing. Play places. Like, you need help. You can't expect to do everything that you are currently doing and then add on trying to start a business that requires minimum 10 to 15 hours of your time, energy, and focus per week.
Yep. So
like, I have right now, and this is now, but even back then, I had someone coming in to clean my house. I left my house 1 to 2 nights a week. So I had somebody come in and put my children to bed so that I could leave and work on my business. After spending a whole day in my nutrition practice, I would have dinner 5 o'clock with the kids, you know, my parents, a babysitter, whoever would come in, and I would leave from about 6:30 till 9:30, and I would go and sit in a restaurant. Remember those days where you could sit in a restaurant and work?
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh my God, so good.
Like a laptop, and they bring you things.
Like a Diet Coke. So
yeah, like keep them coming.
I used to go and sit. It was Tuesday nights. And I used to go and I used to sit in a restaurant that had Wi-Fi, and I would sit there and I would order dinner, and it was like this lovely date night with myself, and I would grind out work. I would also, we'll talk about morning routines in a second. I would also do that on a Saturday morning and a Sunday morning with the kids at the play place, right?
Yeah.
Arrange play dates with your kids. Like, you have to figure out how to get time for yourself. Nobody is going to help you. Nobody's going to support you. Nobody's going to offer to take your kids. Nobody's going to offer to do your laundry. Like, you have to figure it out for yourself.
Yes. And you have to, make a decision not to feel guilty about it. You have to make the decision that you are doing this out of self-love. And this is actually your self-care.
Yeah.
Versus, I feel so badly. What will people think? I'm not spending Saturdays with my kids. I'm not doing, like, we used to do every Saturday. We called it Dadder Day in our family. And Jay, my husband, would take the kids, and it didn't matter that we had weekends and that was really the only family time we had. It didn't matter. We had Dadder Day, and I worked. Yeah. And I worked by myself, and nobody was allowed in the house between like 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. And they figured it out, and they had fun.
Yeah.
It was great.
They had fun. And, even now, like, there's been times where I had to ask like the neighbors. So there was like one neighbor that we like bubbled with. And I was like, can my kids please just come to your house for 2 hours? Like, I'm losing my mind here. You have to ask, you have to. And here's the thing, you teach other people how to treat you. Yeah. Right. So let's look at this disconnect. Here you are saying, I want to be successful, and I want to have a 6-figure business, and I want to, transform lives, and I want to do all of this stuff. And yet you are not asking for what you need. You are not saying no to things. You are not trying to offload anything and everything that you can in order to allocate, guard, and protect this time to work for yourself, so that when you go to your spouse or share with your friends and family and you're like, hey, I have this dream, and they laugh at you, or they don't believe you, or they don't believe in you, why do you think that is? You teach people how to treat you.
Yes, you do.
And so if you're not prioritizing this time, if you're not making the changes, if you're not, saying no to card night or this night or that night because you have to work, because for right now, the startup is the most, time intensive stage, and you have these goals, why would they believe in you? Why would they support you when you're continuously sort of abandoning your boundaries to go to card night or to do laundry or to do whatever it is?
Yeah. If you don't take yourself seriously, nobody else will.
So I had help from the start. So I put my kids in daycare. I had somebody coming in and cleaning. So what I did was I bought Molly Maid gift certificates using my credit card, because sometimes I didn't have the money, but I knew that during that time, like that's 4 hours, 5 hours to clean. I could make so much money during that time. And so I would buy gift cards, because you can do that with Molly Maid. You can't do that with like, a cleaning service that like takes cash only. Yeah. And so I did that. And that's what I would ask for my birthday. And that's what I would ask for the holidays. And people would say to me, what do you want? And I'd be like, Molly Maid gift cards, please. Yeah. Right. Molly Maid gift cards, please. Because I would stock up on these gift cards, and then I'd be able to have them to come in and do that. And that's what I literally got for years and years, like anniversaries, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day. Like, what do you want? Molly Maid gift cards.
Yep. Totally.
And I had that help, and I had my parents helping, and then sometimes they would go to their dads. But that was basically it. And I had a babysitter that I trusted and that the kids really liked. And even now, like, I don't do anything. Like, I don't do anything. I have somebody who shovels my driveway. I have somebody who mows my lawn. I have an afternoon helper that comes in. Her name is Emma, and she does the laundry, and she goes grocery shopping, and she plays with my children, and she gives them snacks, and she cleans my kitchen.
Yeah.
And then I also have a cleaning service that comes in once a week. And my kids are old enough they can like babysit themselves and like stay home and whatnot. But when my kids are out of the house, that's when I take full advantage of working and like having some type of life, although I'm in lockdown, so that's not a thing. But that's my schedule. That is, you know, keeping up with the chores. No.
Nope.
Just no. You don't. No. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Pay your neighbor. I'm sure that there's a teenage girl or boy who would like some extra cash. Pay them $10 an hour, teach them how to do your laundry and fold it.
You have to let go of some things in order to add new things. And if the thing you want to add is a business and an entirely new way of living, you have to let go of the things that matter the least. Chores matter the least.
The least.
Hands down, the least.
You doing them doesn't make you a good anything. It doesn't make you a good wife. Doesn't make you a good mother. Doesn't make you a good daughter. You know what it makes you? Tired as fuck. That's what it makes you. And
unmotivated, undisciplined,
resentful. That's what it makes you. That's it. That's the only feelings you get from doing chores. It's Friday.
It is Friday. Good morning. Happy Friday.
Yeah. How is everybody doing? Do you get dressed every day? Do you work in your PJs, your workout clothes? What is your uniform?
Yeah.
What is your uniform? I used to work in like sweats, t-shirts, whatever. Probably like 2 years ago. And then I started to feel really gross about myself. And I was like, you know what? I need to change this a little bit. Yeah. I don't go 100%. To like your level of like washing my face and putting makeup on. That's like a whole other level. I just get dressed.
There's something to be said though, and whatever it is that you need to do to feel this way, but there's something to be said for doing the things you need to do to step into your power and show up the way you want to show up in like full power mode. And I think that's what we're talking about.
Yes. That is what we're talking about. And we hear all the time, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to focus on. I can't get anything done. I can't manage my time. I'm not where I want to be. And you know, structure gives you freedom. And that's really hard for people like us who are creative, who are highly sensitive, who need need the freedom to like bounce around and like wispy things. And it's hard. It's hard to have the discipline and the freedom, and it's necessary for measurable success, because if you don't do things consistently, you can't measure anything. And if you're constantly bopping around, there's nothing that you're going to do consistently that's going to literally equate to growth.
Totally.
And I realized this in 2012. I have been waking up at 5 a.m. since 2012. And my morning magic time, as I like to call it, has not only saved my sanity 100%, it is, I think, the single most impactful thing that I have done to get to where I am. Like, giving myself those 2 hours in the morning from 5 to 7 a.m. has been the single most impactful thing that I have done. I do not think we would be where we are had I not have done that all those years and continued to do it. I genuinely don't think that I would be where I am.
I believe that fully.
And so what we wanted to share with you today is our morning and evening routine. And really it should be evening morning routine, but that just feels weird to say out loud. So we put it as morning and evening, but really it should be evening and morning, because if you wake up without your to-do list, your your most critical thing first, and then the other sort of 2 or 3 things that you really have to do.
Yep.
And you wake up and you don't know what those are and you don't have them ready to go, you're screwed. You're screwed.
Yep.
You're going to always feel behind the 8 ball. You're going to always feel like you're scrambling to keep up.
Yes.
And so our mornings actually start the night before. So do you want to kick it off and sort of share what you do?
Yeah, totally. So I like to think about everything starting as Sunday. Like everything for me for the week starts Sunday afternoon, evening, because that's when I sit down and write out what has to happen the coming week. And so for me, there's multiple parts to that, obviously. And this evolves over time. Like you start, I mean, I think, years ago when I first started working this way, when I had young children and had no choice but to get my act together and actually be organized in order to accomplish things, it started with just a list, like what had to happen that week, what had to happen the next day. And since then it's evolved for me to, I want to say 3 different categories. And I was talking about this on Instagram the other day, but I have like 3 very distinct categories of things that have to happen. One is like tasks. Like what are the things that actually have to get done in order to keep the business going? Like what are the tasks that I can't forget to do? Those are tasks. Those are put into like Asana. I have them on a calendar. They're already there for me. I don't actually have to do anything with them except take a peek and be like, oh, these are the tasks tomorrow. Noted. Next one is like places to be, meetings, coaching, clients, like team things, right? Like these are pre-scheduled times on the calendar where I know I have to be somewhere virtually because of the world we live in, but somewhere, right? And then 3 is the like projects. Like what do I want to work on that is getting things ahead? Like what are the things that, have to get done in order to hit the next level and the next level and the next level, whether it's personally or professionally. And so I have those 3 categories, and Sunday night is when I start and I categorize them and I look, I'm like, okay, these are my tasks for the week. Is there any day that's really heavy that I need to be aware of now that I need to like clear my brain for? Is there any day that's really light that I can be like, ooh, maybe there's like really fun offline project time over here, or maybe I can sneak away from the computer for a couple of hours this day and recharge and do something totally different, right? And I make my weekly list and I start there. And then when I wake up Monday morning, there's no time spent deciding what to do. There's no brain power wasted. It's like, cool, let's go. Task 1. Does that help?
Yeah, that's really, really good. And so what happens every night? So so you do that Sunday, but every night, how do you prepare for the next day?
Totally. So at the end of my workday, it maybe takes at this point 20 minutes. I don't know, 15, 20, 25 minutes, somewhere in there. So number 1, did I accomplish all the things that I needed to accomplish today? No judgment around it. Did I do it? Right? Because that's really important. And I need to know if there's certain things that were supposed to get done today that didn't, for whatever reason, that now need to be moved over to the next day. So that is literally a process of like crossing things out, putting tick marks on things, and making it really clear where I'm at for the week. Next is, okay, what are the 3, and I like to do 3 because I genuinely in my world don't think I can attack more than 3 major things in a day. Right. What are the 3 biggest things that have to get done tomorrow that are the most important based on whatever the criteria of success was for the week? Cool. I write it down, right? It's there. It's ready to go. I make sure I have everything I need to do it, whether that's like certain files, certain whatever. And I make my plan for the next day. And I'm like, okay, so when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, W. And, I have all of these other things going on. I have this much coaching. I have these many meetings. Cool. Based on the time, I think I also have time to work on A and B down here, which are like the wish list things. Like,
yes,
if I get to it, I will. And that's important because otherwise you end up with like some random free time and you're like, oh, wonder what's happening on Instagram.
Yes.
What should I do now? Right? Meanwhile, you have all these cool things you could be working on.
Yes.
But you need to know.
And I think the important thing too is really creating so there's that Laura just described. And then there's like, that's the work that she does like in the morning and stuff. And then I'll share sort of my morning routine because it's similar and how I do it. So for me, I also do the Sunday night situation where I look at the week ahead and I look at my task list, like the recurring things that I have to do and where I need to be. And so, for example, this week coming up, like the week of February 22nd, I'm slammed. Like I'm looking at it and I have 2 full day workshops, Tuesday and Thursday of this week, which means I had to push everything from Thursday into my Wednesday. And so that made my Wednesday also slammed. So with that being said, I will not overdo my to-do list, which means that I have to communicate to my team, that I have to make sure that everything that I needed to basically get done next week is done on Monday. That so that people, whatever it was that I needed to get out, the emails, the social, whatever is done. So I'm looking at next week and I'm like, ooh, like that, like good luck to me trying to get anything done over and above my where I actually need to be and the things that I need to do in the business. Yep. Sometimes you have weeks like that where next week it's going to be unlikely that I'm going to have time and cognitive bandwidth to work on the business other than showing up and doing the things that I know that I need to do, which if I then look ahead, we have something pretty awesome coming the first week of March. I need to get that done this weekend because if I don't get it done, and so it's really planning ahead and prioritizing and being like, okay, next week is like chock-a-block full. Okay, what is on the docket for the first week of March? And really looking like that far ahead to be like, okay, cool. This is why my morning magic time grew my business. Yeah. Because if 2 hours a day times 5, that's 10 hours a week plus Saturday and Sunday. And yes, it stays basically the same because my morning allows me time for me. So not all of you have children at home. And if you do, maybe there's another adult human being in your home with you. There isn't one in mine. And so for me, I need those 2 hours before the children because that is the only time in my day that I get to myself, that I give to myself. Nobody else gives back to me, right, in my day. Because I'm the CEO. So I'm giving, right? I'm the coach, just like y'all. You're the coach, you're the boss, you're the mom, you're the daughter, you're the da-da-da-da-da. You need to give to yourself. Nobody's going to give to you. So I give these 2 hours to myself to do the work that drives the business forward. So not only will I work on Sunday afternoon this weekend because I know that this week is full, but I will make sure that in those morning times, I am working on the stuff for March the 1st. If I don't get it done this weekend, the first week of March, let's just say, I'm not, I don't know. I'm not playing on Canva. I'm not, figuring out a tech platform. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm doing the marketing that is going to drive the company forward. And that is the best possible use of my time and yours. So my nighttime at night, I look at, and I'm not like Laura, I don't get my tasks done. So
that's actually very true.
I rarely get everything done in my day. And I just like prioritize and be like, okay, I can push this. And I'm constantly juggling my task list with my schedule. It's a constant because I know that like people task me things and I get them from all sides, right? So they task me things and I know that like, okay, I need to do this first. And I'm really good at like like making sure the time and whatever. So at night, I sit down with Asana. So Asana, ASANA, is our project management platform. And what it does is it shows you all the tasks and it gives you deadlines. And so at night, I sit down and I'm like, okay, didn't get this done. So either I'll communicate to the person, be like, hey, I'm working on it, blah, 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 or I'll change the deadline to the next day, or I'll leave it because I want it to stay at the top as a reminder. And then in the morning, at night, what I do is I put the date in my notebook.
Yep.
At night. So I did this last night, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 things on here that I need to get done today. Like I don't go to bed until they get done, right? I have to do them. And I also have to do the things in Asana, but some of the things in Asana I wrote down on here, right? Yeah. And I keep this notebook with me throughout the day, and throughout my day, I literally do it like I'm in school. You can see. I highlight the date and I have my like little notes, and then I come back here at the end of my day and I sort of amalgamate everything, and I do that. And so when I wake up in the morning, this is literally in front of my keyboard on, where did I go? Where I lost the date here. I wake up in the morning and I sit down at my keyboard, and I don't even have to go into Asana because that frankly overwhelms me. I know exactly what I need to do first because it's right in front of my face. And I organized myself the night before, so it's not like Laura said, where's the file? Oh, I don't have access. Fuck, that's annoying. It's 5 a.m. Like, all of this
Nobody will give me access.
No, who's going to give me access at 5 a.m.,
Yep.
And especially if I have to be creative the night before, I'll do a little, or in the morning, if I'm writing emails or I'm creating content or whatever it is, I'll like make some notes for myself and I'll prime my brain. I will prime my brain for the morning so that when I wake up at 5 a.m., my morning routine is the same thing every day. Please, please do not make decisions in the morning. You are wasting your flow. The whole point of having a morning routine is that you alleviate the decision making. The best thing that you can do for yourself is not to make a single decision in the morning. It is the best thing. So have your even from what tea should I have today? Don't do that. Yep. Don't do that. Get up, have the tea the night before, laid out, whatever it is, have the mug the night before, laid out, lay everything out. You should not be making decisions. You don't want to wreck the gloriousness of the flow that happens in the morning by making decisions. And we don't realize, but every decision that we have to make takes brain power.
Yeah.
And so go ahead. No, go ahead.
So I was going to say the other thing besides decision-making is important. I fully agree with that. The other thing I hope you guys are getting out of this is we're taking what can be a reactive situation and turning it into a proactive situation. The whole purpose of routine, morning routine, nighttime routine, task list, notes, activities, it's creating a proactive situation. If you do not do this, you are, whether by choice or not by choice, you are living reactively. Yeah. And that means that you are never in control. You are never the leader. You are never operating at full power because you are always operating in reaction to somebody or something else that happens, and it feels scrambly and it feels overwhelming. And that's when you feel like you're sitting down and accomplishing nothing but working for 18 hours a day. Yeah. That if you feel like that, you are operating reactively. This takes the leadership, puts it on you, allows you to show up and make the decisions and be powerful and be in control.
Yep. And I think that that's really important when we talk about structure gives you freedom. And so even though I am someone who needs wide open spaces, I have my wide open space blocked off, but I know what I'm doing during that time. I'm not sitting down and going, oh, I have so much to do. I don't know where to begin, because this is a key thing here. So listen up. You need to spend more time planning and organizing yourself. We see this every day. I don't know what to write. I don't know how to get started. I don't know this. I don't know that. And we're like, sit your ass in the chair with a notebook and a calendar and spend time thinking and planning. Because if you're all frazzled and you're spinning out and you're in that fight or flight response, there is no possible way that you can get yourself organized. There is no possible, because you're either trying to fight or you're trying to flee. You can't sit in the present and say, okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, cool. What do I want to do? Like, what 3 things do I need to get done today? What am I going to talk about today on social media, right? And it really is about giving yourself time to plan. So the night before, my nighttime routine, it happens at about 9:15. After I put my son to bed, I sit down at my computer. I do a full brain dump on paper every night. I just sit quietly. Sometimes I put on Spotify and I play the piano music, and I just sit quietly and I just brain dump like all the things, I have to remember to pay the snow shovel guy, whatever, right? Like all the things. I get it out of my head, because then I can also have a really good night's sleep. I get it out of my head. I brain dump this notebook. I put the date at the top so that I know the date of the brainstorm. I never look at it again. And I brain dump. And then I go into Asana. That's our project management task platform thing. And I organize my tasks and I figure them all out and all of that good stuff. And then I write my, 2 to 4 things that I need down on my piece of paper. I write 3 things that I'm grateful for that day. And I go to bed. And I go to bed. And I go to bed with gratitude. Like I go to bed, the last thing that I do is like the gratitude, and I'm lying in bed and I repeat it and I repeat it and I repeat it. And I go to bed. I don't watch TV. Sometimes I read, most of the time I read. I go to bed. And then when I wake up in the morning, I wake up, I go pee, I go make the coffee, I sit down at the computer, I look at the list, I start on the first thing. I finish the first thing, I go to the second thing. I finish the second thing, I go to the third thing. My alarm goes off at 6:50. I'm like, cool, great. I have 10 more minutes. The alarm goes off again at 6:59. Great. Most of the time, I have to fight with myself for 15 more minutes to get my ass up out of the chair so that I can go into the basement and move my body on that damn treadmill that I hate so much. And usually I'm on the treadmill at 7:00 every day. I'm like, yep, I'm going to get there at 7 today. I'm going to get there at 7 today. But like 30 minutes is better than no minutes. And then 8:00, I'm the mother. 3 hours. I've already worked for 2. I've fought with myself for 15 minutes, and then I moved my body for 30. How would your life change if that's what your morning routine was? You work full time? Great. Get up earlier.
Go to bed earlier, get up earlier.
You should not get up earlier is if you have babies that don't sleep through the night, because then your hormones are fucked, and we're not going to talk about that. Right? That's the only way, and that you shouldn't be waking up. You should reorganize your life so that you are sleeping by 10:30 at the latest and be waking up at 5. And if you do that, I promise you will become successful so much faster. So much faster. Do you keep the same morning routine during the week and on weekends? Do you?
Like 90% of it. Yeah, I do. I probably take longer with my coffee on the weekends. Like I sit there for longer. Actually, on the weekends, my morning routine is even better because I don't have to get up and shower and like put makeup on at any like set point. I can just sit there and keep doing what I'm doing until like a child actually gets angry. That doesn't really happen till like 9 or 10. So yes.
I absolutely do. And again, it's not this, I want to make one thing clear. It's not this hustle and grind mentality.
No.
It is nourishing for my soul. I am not a good human when I wake up for my children or any other human being. It's the only, like, I am giving this time to myself. So when I go to bed early, it's an act of self-love. When I dip out, well, not now because we're in lockdown, but like, let's pretend we weren't. When I would leave parties at 9:45, or say no to my girlfriends who go to see the late movies because I go to bed at 10, or the odd time I go on a date and I'm like, sorry, dude, like I'm not going for dinner at 8 because I really need to be home like at 10. And if
Dinner
you should
at
just
8.
know this, you know, who does that?
Who does that?
I don't even know. People who wake up at
Wow.
9 a.m. I was like, and you should know this about me also. Like I'm a grandma and I go to bed at 10. And like, that's a hard boundary.
Yeah.
And like, that's a hard boundary, sir, who might want to, pursue a relationship with me. You should know this off the hop. Will I bend it for like my best friend's wedding? Sure.
Yes, of course.
Sure.
Of course.
Like, okay. But basically that's it.
Yeah.
Like, this is my act of self-love. So I love myself enough to honor my ambition, to honor my goals, to honor the rhythm of my body that works best for me. Some of you might be like, I'm a night owl. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Then do you block that time? Or are you sitting in front of the TV?
Yeah.
Are you sitting from 9 until midnight in your flow? Cool. It doesn't have to be the morning, but love yourself enough to give yourself that time 7 days a week. And maybe you change it up on the weekends where like you get to do a longer workout, or you get to like journal for longer, or whatever it is. But, it's so important that we really honor the goals and the ambition. And once the day starts, like once 9 o'clock hits, it's, unless you literally peace out from the world, it's really hard to get into the flow during a work day.
9 o'clock is like the Wild West. Like I call it the Wild West of the day, because no matter what is planned at that point, I can't guarantee anything's going to happen, because somebody's going to need something. Like there's going to be something that goes on that requires attention. 2 impromptu hour-long meetings are going to pop up. A child's going to get sick. Like something will happen. So that morning time, or whatever that time is for you, that's the time to get the things done that have to get done, that no matter what else happens that day, you were successful. That's the way that I look at it. Whatever else happens, I was successful already, and it's prior to 9 a.m.
Exactly. And so I just want to address this one comment because I think it's so valuable. Gabrielle is saying, I wake up at 5 too. I have a hard time focusing when I sit down to work. So do a brain dump. Sometimes you just got to get the cobwebs, where it's like, and sometimes that happens to me too. Listen, not every day do I sit down and I am my most productive self. I was not this morning. I was not. It was a crazy week. My kids went back to school. There was a lot of emotion, blah, blah, blah. And this morning I was like, I am not as productive. So I went in and I did non-thinking tasks that have been on my to-do list that I had to do, but it wasn't like I scrolled Facebook, right? Yeah. It wasn't that. Or if you're not, in the task and you can't do what you need to do, then use that time to be creative, go for a walk, like do other thinking things for the business. But what I find super helpful is in the morning, if I have that and it's 5 a.m. and I just like can't get into it, try and change your state. So put some music on, move your body a little bit, maybe have like essential oils that you smell, have like a cold beverage. I find like something to like change your state. And then also just sometimes it just helps to like do a brain dump or do a little bit of an outline just to like get into the flow. And so really having those rituals and those routines, it are really, really helpful if you have a hard time focusing when you wake up that early. I think the main takeaway point here is 2 things. 1, structure gives you freedom.
Yep.
2, love yourself enough to create rituals and routines and boundaries and stick to them. Because if you are allowing other people to take your time away from yourself, which is sort of what we were talking about yesterday, you teach people how to treat you.
Yep.
Love yourself enough to be disciplined. Believe in yourself enough to be disciplined. because it is the discipline and the consistency over time that's going to allow you to grow.
Yep.
So let us know, what evening and morning routine or ritual you're going to commit to, and try it, right? Try it. It can't hurt to try.
It can't. But here's the thing. If you're going to do this, commit to it. Don't break promises to yourself. Don't tell yourself you're going to get up at 5 and then not do it. Because when you start breaking promises to yourself, you lose trust in yourself. And then that's when you actually don't believe that you can do the thing, because you're proving to yourself over and over that you don't do the thing that you say you're going to do. Mm-hmm. So pick something realistic, even if tomorrow it's 15 minutes earlier than you normally do, and do that for a week and prove to yourself that you can do it and keep the promise. Mm-hmm. That's more important than anything else, as far as I'm concerned.
Love yourself enough to do this. Don't break promises. So figure it out, because you're the only one that can change your life. And so having these routines and structures in place, it's, it sounds like silly to say, they change your life.
Actually.
Like, they change your life.